Can Charles Oliveira reclaim his lightweight title, or will it be Islam Makhachev getting it done? See who fighters are picking in the latest edition of MMA Pros Pick.
Every technique that they have done since 1993, none of them work today. The sport has just evolved. None of them are around. A lot of the rules aren't even around except for one thing. You get on top of a guy and you bludgeon him, you win. And that is what Makhachev does. I am taking Makhachev.
All right, so Charles, I think, is a guy who fights in a way where, like, he almost fights like he's invincible, which, like, is super interesting to watch. And I think that he, like, the thing about Oliveira that, like, really mega impresses me is he knows his next step every single time. And like, there's no pause in what he's doing. Every single thing he does has, like, the next link, the next link, the next link, the next link. And I think that his game is, like, super thought out. He's been in the UFC for, like, a lot of years. And I think that Oliveira is probably going to win that one. I think that Islam is really good, too. And, like, I don't know that it's necessarily going to be, like, Oliveira's going to submit him or Islam's going to take him down and hold him. I just think that, like, Charles' decision-making skills happen like this, and I think that that's just, like, a lot on people, and it's really a lot on people that want to take people down and then, like, slowly pass and grind people out and this and that. But if you have, like, a wiggly person underneath you that has a step that's been thought out over the years, like, I think that that's a really tough one to win. Honestly, I'm really more interested in seeing what the stand-up looks like in that. I think that the winner is going to be determined by who actually has the better stand-up, in my opinion. And I think that, like I said, Charles isn't invincible. Like, he's been hurt in fights, but he fights like he is, and that's always, like, a little bit sketchy. And Islam isn't, like, a bad striker by any means, but he's definitely not, like, you know, one of the best strikers, I think, in the division. I think that it's above average, but it's not, like, top 3 or something in the division. So I think that the fight is going to be won or lost in the striking areas, and there will be, like, a decent amount of grappling, but I think that they'll kind of cancel each other out, honestly.
Charles Oliveira, he's a machine, my friend. He's going to, like, he's going to really be good hype. It's not just hype, he's truly champion, you know? Even when he missed the weight, he should get the belt, but, you know, like, so little weight. Some mistakes happen, but whatever. He's gonna come back. He's gonna smash Usman, and I don't know what's gonna happen next. Maybe Khabib gonna come back to revenge. I don't know.
But you think Charles will win that fight?
100% Charles.
Oh, Charles Oliveira, man. I think he has more tools in his toolbox. I think Islam Makhachev, or I can't even say his name, but Islam's a little bit of a one-trick pony, and he's really good at that trick. Of course, he's obviously amazing, and it's got him to a championship fight in the best division. But that being said, the champ's a champ, man, and he's been doing a great job all along. And I don't know, I'm a huge Charles Oliveira fan, so I hope he just reigns supreme forever, man.
Man, that's a hard one to call. That's tough because Charles' jiu-jitsu is so good, especially from the bottom, that he's going to always have him in trouble. But if Makhachev can get them legs tied up like Khabib does, it's hard to get out of that, and it's really, really tiring. So if he can do that for a round or two and get Charles tired, then it'll be a problem. But overall, if I have to say who I think is going to win, I think it's going to be Charles Oliveira by either TKO or submission in the second round.
I'm gonna take old Charlie Olive. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I always got to root for him, but I think he is just that good.
I'm leaning more to Charles. I don't know why. I feel like Charles has always been, like, kind of the underdog, and even in, like, some of his fights that, you know, he was a champ, it just kind of seemed like they like brushed past him, and then they were talking about his past, like, oh, he quits and stuff like that. But lately, I'm like, he might have quit then. We're not seeing that same person. Yeah. Charles has changed, and I think we'll see him dig deep in this fight, and I think he beats Islam.
Charles all day, man. A lot of people like to sleep on him just because they're afraid of Dagestanis for some reason. not to talk down on them. You know, I've trained with a lot of Dagestanis. I like those guys, but they see the way they wrestle and they think like, oh my gosh, like just they're invincible and this and that. But like I've seen so many Dagestanis in Bellator and in the UFC who are nothing like Khabib. And I know that he trains under Khabib and has definitely shown that he's a legit fighter. But I think Charles' experience and that belief, he also is on that next level kind of thing. You can tell he ain't the same Charles from a few years ago. So I think Charles is going to take it.
I think Islam gets skunked in the first. I think Oliveira absolutely smashes Islam's freaking face any way possible. Islam just he doesn't have the experience. It seems he hadn't fought the guys. He hasn't been through as much scary moments as Charles has, in my opinion.
This is pretty tough fight, but I think Oliveira have a very, very impressive jiu-jitsu, and I don't know if Makhachev took him down and he want to play this jiu-jitsu. So I think Oliveira defend his belt.
And that's a hard fight. That's a crazy fight, but like we can never adopt of Charles. He's so unpredictable and he has so much heart and he been through a lot and he's a good example for me. He also in the beginning he had to learn from his mistakes, and he even lost to Jim Miller too. And I was watching like a documentary last night about Charles the Bronx, and when he lost to Jim Miller, he had a tore ACL or something. And that's funny because in my fight against Jim Miller, I had a tore MCL too.
Oh wow! Okay, well there you go.
That's why when he was kicking my leg didn't have balance.
That makes sense. So you're going with Charles in that fight?
I go with Charles.
I'm gonna lean towards Islam. I think it's time we stop counting out Oliveira. You know, I think a lot of us are looking at him from how he was when he was a kid. You know, but that guy's completely gone now. I will say this though: everybody that he beat recently had a chance to beat him. You know, but his guard is just so dangerous that they weren't willing to play that game. I remember, I think it was Eve Edwards that wrote on Twitter, he was like, Charles Oliveira is the only MMA fighter that gets to have an 8 count in MMA, because when they drop him, they just let him recover and just get back up, you know? And I don't think Islam is going to be scared. I feel like if Islam does drop him or catch him, he's going to go in there.
I see exactly like you, 50-50. You know, Charlie's, his jiu-jitsu is beautiful, amazing, perfect for MMA. And also we see Islam coming from a great school. Khabib, he's the best, his coach. I'm very big fan of Khabib and his philosophy, the way he coaches, how he sees fights in everything. So, well, I don't know, I would say if I have to bet on that fight and they give me money, I would get Islam. It's just because of the style.
Charles Oliveira.
Oliveira. Gotta stick with Oliveira. He's one of those guys that he, you know, at first he was just, you know, you just watch him fight, he was just one of the fights, right? Like, and then all of a sudden he's a guy that starts killing people and he gets hurt in fights and then he comes back and he still wins. It's like you can just never count him out. And I think that he just got the skills to do it. He's got sick jiu-jitsu. I don't see him just getting gassed out or anything. I think he'll end up pulling off a decision.
The primary thing about this fight is that I'm excited to see Oliveira and Islam Makhachev fight at this time, because I feel like they're both in their prime. And so I'm glad that this fight's not getting delayed at all. I'm going to pick Charles Oliveira as a fan.